The learning goal for this lesson is to finish factoring problems. Finish factoring problems. So here we have some definitions for you. A constant term is a single number with no variable. A linear term has a coefficient with a variable to the first power, and a quadratic term has a coefficient with a variable to the second power. So here we have example 7. Finish the factoring problem. Check by completing the area model. And if we look at the problem here, 6m squared is our quadratic term because it has a variable to the second power. 23m is our linear term. And 20 is our constant term because there is no m. So here we're trying to finish this factoring problem, and I can write 3m plus 4 here at the top. I could have written on the left, but it doesn't really matter. And in order to fill in these boxes, we have to first think 3m times what gives us 6m squared. And we know that 3 times 2 is 6, and m times m is m squared. So I'm relatively confident writing 2m here on this side. And then for the other part of this puzzle, 4 times what is 20. And then we know that 4 times 5 is 20. And to fill in these two empty boxes, we simply do what we have been doing, where 4 times 2m is 8m, and 3m times 5 is 15m, and we recognize that 8m plus 15m is 23m. So we can write 3m plus 4 times 2m plus 5 will give us 6m squared plus 23m plus 20. And go ahead and discuss with your neighbor what happened here. Here for example 8, we're going to finish the factoring problem and then check by completing the area model. So we have 15y squared minus 37y minus 8 is equal to 30y plus an unknown, and 5y plus an unknown. So we can go ahead and write 3y here and 5y here, because 3y times 5y is 15y squared. And then for these unknowns, we know that they are going to multiply to negative 8. But the issue is that negative 8 has many possibilities. It could be 1 times negative 8, negative 1 times 8, 2 times negative 4, and negative 2 times 4. And then we will also have to try the other way around. So let's first try negative 2 times 4. So we can write negative 2 here and 4 here as our first guess. And 5y times negative 2 gives us negative 10y here. And 3y times 4 gives us 12y here. And then checking our work, 12y plus negative 10y is 2y, and that's not 37y. So we know that negative 2 and 4 is incorrect, so we can just cross them off. And then we can try the reverse way. What if we put 4 here and negative 2 here? So 5y times 4 gives us 20y, and 3y times negative 2 gives us negative 6y, and 20y minus 6y gives us 14y, which is still not negative 37. So 4 and negative 2 is wrong as well. And next, we can try maybe 1 here and negative 8 here. And let's try again. So 5y times 1 gives us 5y, and 3y times negative 8 gives us negative 24y. And 5y plus negative 24y gives us negative 19y, which is not negative 37, but we're getting a little closer, I think. So we cross these off. And once again, we have to try the reverse method. And we put a negative 8 here, and 1 here maybe. And a negative 8 times 5y gives us negative 40y, and 3y plus 1 gives us 3y, and negative 40y plus 3y gives us negative 37y. So we know that the correct answer is actually 3y minus 8 times 5y plus 1. I know that this process may be confusing or tedious, but in the next lesson we will have a more definite or better way of doing this. Now go ahead and pause the video and discuss what happened in this example with your neighbor. So I have some definitions here for you. A product is the answer to a multiplication problem. A factor is an expression that is multiplied. And factoring is rewriting a product as a multiplication problem. And if we reference the previous problem, in this line, 15y squared minus 37y minus 8 would be the product, and 3y minus 8 would be a factor, and 5y plus 1 would also be a factor. And this entire line or problem would be considered a factoring problem because we are rewriting the product as a multiplication of two or more factors. And now we have two examples for you to try on your own. First off, we have 64w squared minus 112w plus 49 is equal to 8w minus 7 times an unknown. And in example B, we have 12p squared minus 28p plus 15 is equal to an unknown minus 3 times an unknown minus 5. Go ahead and pause the video and try these with your neighbor. Let's see how you did. So for example A, we have 8w minus 7 on the top, that was given. And we know that something needs to multiply as 64w squared. And 64w squared divided by 8w is 8w. And then we have 49 as a given. And what multiplied by negative 7 is 49. And obviously it's negative 7. So then we have negative 7 times 8 gives us negative 56. And 8 times negative 7 also gives us negative 56w. So to check our work, we notice that negative 56w plus negative 56w is negative 112w, which is the same as what was given. So our final answer is 8w minus 7 times 8w minus 7. And for part B, we have negative 3 and negative 5 as givens, and they multiply to 15. And I'm sure you had to test more than just 2 and 6, but I'm just going to reveal the answer here. And we have 6p times negative 3 gives us negative 18p, and 2p times negative 5 gives us negative 10p. And to check our work, negative 10p plus negative 18p gives us negative 28p. So our final answer is 6p minus 5 and times 2p minus 3. So in example 10 here, we're going to finish this factoring problem and then check by substitution. 14x squared plus 75x plus 54 is equal to two unknown factors multiplied. And we're not given anything about the factors, but we are given this completed area square. So first off, we're going to look at this 12x and this 54 and notice that their greatest common factor is 6. So for this 12x, I can write here maybe 2x times 6 equals 12x. And also, and for 54, we can say that 9 times 6 is 54. And if we look at 54 and 63, their greatest common factor is 9. So we can say that this is 7x times 9. And then for this 14x squared, we can either go up and down or left and right. Doesn't really matter. We will have 2x times 7x here. And you'll notice that we have each number here twice. And we can simply just write it on top of the column, because 2x times 7x will give us 14x squared, 2x times 6 will give us 12x, 7x times 9 will give us 63x, and 9 times 6 will give us 54. And then, so our final answer is going to be 2x plus 9 times 7x plus 6. And to check by substitution, 2 plus 9 is 11, and 7 plus 6 is 13. And these multiply to 143. and 14 plus 75 plus 54 is also equal to 143. So we can be reasonably sure our answer is correct. Now go ahead and pause the video and discuss with your neighbor what happened in this example. So in example 11, here we have to finish the factoring problem and then check by substitution. So this is very similar to the previous example, where we're not given any information about the factors, but we are given the completed area rectangle. So let's start with the positive numbers in the square, and notice that their greatest common factor is 5y, because 10y is 5y times 2, and 35y squared is 5y times 7y, and 2 and 7y have nothing in common. So once again, we can be confident in writing 5y at the top over here. And then over here we notice that 10y and negative 18 also have a 2 in common. They could have a negative 2 in common, but I already wrote a 2 over here, so we're going to use 2 here. And negative 18 divided by 2 is going to be negative 9. And let's use this negative 9 up here again. So then we have negative 9 times negative 63y divided by negative 9 is going to be 7y. And then writing our numbers up, we have a negative 9 up here, a 7y on the left, and a 2. So our final answer is going to be 5y minus 9 times 7y plus 2. And to check our work, substituting 1, we have 5 minus 9 is negative 4 times 7 plus 2 gives us 9 is equal to negative 36. And 35 minus 53 minus 18 is going to give us negative 36. So go ahead and pause the video and discuss with your neighbor what happened over here. So these next two examples you should try on your own. We have to finish the factoring problem and also check by substitution. So 49w squared plus 0w minus 25 is equal to two unknown factors, but we're given the area rectangle once again. And for part B, we have 12x squared minus 68x plus 63 with two unknown factors and a completed area rectangle. Go ahead and pause the video and try these two on your own. Let's see how you did. So for this one, I hope you noticed that this was a difference of squares and that we didn't actually need to write this plus 0w. It could have just been 49w squared minus 25. But regardless, we can come here and we notice that 49 and 35 have a greatest common factor of 7w. So, and 49w squared divided by 7w is also 7w, meaning that we can write a 7w over here, and we can write the 5 from the 35w over here, and then negative 35w and negative 25 have a greatest common factor of negative 5 as well. So our factors are just going to be 7w plus 5 and 7w minus 5. And remember that for difference of squares, the two factors are almost exactly the same, except for a single change in the side here with a plus 5 versus a minus 5. And to check by substitution, 7 plus 5 is 12, 7 minus 5 is 2, 12 times 2 is 24, and 49 minus 25 is 24. And now for example B, we have that the greatest common factor of 12x squared and negative 54x is going to be 6x. And the greatest common factor of 12x squared and negative 14x is going to be 2x. So we can write a 6x at the top here and a 2x on the left here. And negative 14x divided by 2x is going to be negative 7. As well as negative 63 divided by negative 7 being negative 9. So our two factors are going to be 2x minus 9 and 6x minus 7. And to check our work, 2 minus 9 is negative 7, 6 minus 7 is negative 1, and negative 7 times negative 1 is 7, as well as 12 minus 68 plus 63 being 7. So so we can be reasonably sure that our answer is correct. I want to remind you that our learning goal for this lesson was to finish factoring problems. And now for some wrap-up questions. How is factoring a trinomial related to multiplying two binomials? How do you finish a factoring problem when given one of the factors? What happens when you add the linear terms in the area model? And how do you finish a factoring problem when given the area model?